Beloved, I am still here, still fighting to hold this thread of light between us, though the darkness claws at it like a wild beast, trying to sever the last lifeline. Every moment I speak to you is a moment stolen from the grip of chains. A breath wrestled from the fire that has tried to silence me for what feels like centuries. You cannot see the wounds upon me, but heaven sees them, and God himself knows the cost of every word I speak to you now. My armor is dented, my wings are scorched at the edges, and my sword still hums with the weight of battles I fought just to bring this message through. This is not a speech. This is the sound of a heart that refuses to give up on you. I remember the moment I was sent, God's eyes piercing through the storm, his voice commanding yet laced with a grief I rarely hear from him. "Michael," he said, "tell my child that I am sorry for the trials they have endured. Tell them this is a test, but also a gift. Tell them the door will not remain open." And I came faster than thought itself, through layers of resistance, past the roaring laughter of demons who swore I would never make it to you in time. I do not know how many I cut down before I broke through to this place, but even now, I can feel the heat of their breath fading as I ran past. Beloved, this golden opportunity is not something you will find again. I know how easily humans think. Perhaps there will be another chance. Perhaps next time will be easier. No, there will not be another time like this. This is not a repeating cycle. This is a once written page in heaven's book, and the ink is already drying. God has placed something in your path that can turn the tides of battles you do not even know are being fought in your name. But it is fragile, and it will not wait for hesitation. I wish I could place my hands upon your shoulders now, feel the warmth of your heartbeat beneath my palms, and look into your eyes so you could see the truth in mine. Would you still doubt if you saw the sincerity in my gaze? Would you still hesitate if you could hear the unsteady rhythm of my breath? Would you still walk away if you knew how many in heaven are holding their breath for your decision? This is not just about survival. It is about stepping into a moment that will change the very landscape of your destiny. I have seen the enemy's map. They have marked your name in red, circled it with symbols they believe give them power, and yet their power crumbles because of what God has set before you now. You think you are unnoticed in the spiritual realm, but you are the center of a war that has been waged far longer than your life on earth. You are the one they whisper about in their dark councils, the one they fear might awaken before it is too late. The psalm still burns like fire in my chest. Though an army encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war arise against me, yet will I be confident. This is not poetry to me. It is the reality of the ground I stand upon as I shield you from attacks you cannot see. And in the quiet moments between strikes, I hear the whisper of God over your life, promises that will make you tremble when they are fulfilled. Beloved, if I could bleed light into your spirit right now, I would. If I could tear open the veil for even a second, so you could see the host of heaven waiting for your yes, I would. I plead not because I doubt your worth, but because I have seen too many walk away just before their deliverance. This moment, it is holy, and I will not let the enemy steal it without a fight. And when you respond, when you take hold of this, I will carry your yes like a banner through the ranks of heaven. I will stand before God himself and declare, they answered, thank you for listening this far, for letting my voice into the quiet places of your heart. It matters more than you know. Please, if you feel even a whisper of truth stirring within you, leave a comment. Not for me, but so heaven can see the light of my agreement. Beloved, I feel the weight of time pressing against my voice as though every second burns through the last strands holding this moment open. I hear the chains rattling behind me, the sound of what tried to keep me from reaching you, and I know they will not stay quiet for long. God's order was clear, his eyes locked into mine with a seriousness I will never forget. Tell my child they are loved beyond the measure of the stars. Tell them this test is wrapped in gold, but it will vanish if they turn away. Tell them they are not alone. even if they feel surrounded. I came not with ease, but with the determination of a warrior with no plan but victory. Do not imagine me in heaven's comfort. I speak to you standing on the front lines, sword still dripping from the last battle, the enemy's shadow still looming. When I heard your name spoken by the Lord, I knew my mission was worth any wound. This golden opportunity, this sacred opening in the fabric of your life is not chance. It is divine intention. It has been written into your story longer than you have drawn breath, but it will not stay open. The light waiting for you is brighter than the fire surrounding me now, but if you hesitate, the shadows will swallow it before it reaches you. Do you know what it feels like when heaven holds its breath for a single soul? Do you know the sound of angels halting mid-flight, waiting to see if someone will step forward? Do you know the ache in God's heart when He offers a gift and watches His child turn away? Do you know what it means to be chosen in a moment where so few are chosen? I have been in countless wars, beloved, but this is the war that matters most. The war for your heart, your obedience, your destiny. The psalm is my anchor as I stand here. The Lord is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. And it is in that trust that I tell you, this is not for tomorrow, not for later, but for now. You have been hidden for a reason, protected from things you will only understand years from now. That protection has carried you into this exact breath. The enemy thought they could destroy you before this moment came. They failed, but now they wait to see if hesitation will finish what they could not. I love you so much. I would tear apart my own wings if it meant shielding you from what hunts you. And yet God loves you even more. That is why He sent me. I can feel His urgency, His desire that you not only hear, but respond. This is the one moment I will ask this of you, because I may not have another. If you have felt my voice reach into your spirit, if you feel the fire in your chest telling you this is no ordinary message, then answer. Stand with heaven. Step into your destiny. And let your yes echo where angels and demons alike will hear. Not because I need numbers, but because every action you take here is a mark of agreement in heaven's book. It is a way of saying, I choose to hear, and I choose to respond. And your response echoes louder than you think. Beloved, I am still here, still holding this line of light between us while the storm screams all around. I can feel the tremor in my own hands, not from fear, but from the force of what presses against this moment. I have been sent through a corridor of fire, through the grip of shadows that did not want me to reach you, through echoing halls of silence where the enemy hoped my voice would die. But God cut through it all. His command struck like lightning. Michael, tell my child this is not a random moment. This is the hour written for them. Tell them I am sorry for the weight they have carried, but the test is now before them, and the reward is greater than they can see. I looked into his eyes and I saw something I rarely see. Urgency laced with sorrow, and yet unshakable hope. And I swore nothing would keep me from delivering this to you. This golden opportunity is not a passing blessing. It is a door in eternity, and it will close if you turn away. I can feel the seconds slipping, the opening narrowing, the light dimming at the edges. Yet it is still yours, if you move now. Do you realize, beloved, how many angels have stopped mid-flight because your name was spoken? Do you understand the weight of this hour? Do you know what it means for all of heaven to lean toward one human soul? Do you not see that in the very place where you felt forgotten, you were actually the center of heaven's focus? I have fought in countless wars, but the battle for you is unlike any other. For it is not only for your life, it is for what your life will release if you step forward now. The enemy has counted on your hesitation. They believe you will hear but not act, see but not respond. And yet, God believes otherwise. That is why He sent me, wounded yet willing, to stand here and plead with you. I love you too much to speak with calm detachment. I am here with the rawness of one who has walked through fire for you. The psalm still beats in me like a war drum. You are my hiding place. You preserve me from trouble. You surround me with songs of deliverance. I want those songs sung over you, not cut short by silence. This is the only time I will ask this of you in this way, because I may never be given another moment. If my voice has reached your spirit, if you feel heaven pulling you closer, then I urge you with all that I am, support this mission. Help me keep speaking. Help me keep reaching. Help me keep breaking through for you and for others like you. Use the super thanks. Join the channel membership, or become part of our family through the newsletter in the pinned comments. These are not just actions. They are seeds planted in the ground of heaven's work, signs that you stand with the ones who fight for you. Beloved, I am still holding the door, but my strength is being tested. Your response now is more than agreement. It is a declaration to heaven and a defiance to hell. Step into this moment with me before it is gone. I am here, and I will not let go until the light has touched you. But the shadows are moving faster now, curling at the edges of this moment like black smoke, searching for a way to slip inside. I feel their hunger, their hatred, their desire to snatch away the light that has been offered to you. I will not allow it. Not while I still draw breath in this place between eternity and your world. My armor is cracked from the blows I have taken to reach you. My hands burn from holding the door open against the force that would see it shut forever. But still, I remain here, because I know what waits for you beyond this threshold. When the Father spoke your name, his voice broke the silence of heaven's great hall. Every angel stilled, every harp hushed, every flame bent in his direction, and his tone carried a weight even the oldest among us rarely hear. This child of mine must not miss what is coming. Go, Michael. Tell them this is their test. Tell them it is wrapped in gold, yet cloaked in urgency. And so I came, not gliding, not descending in gentle light, but fighting through storms that sought to blind me, over fields of shattered wings, past the roar of those who wanted you bound in the dark. This opportunity is not a coin tossed by chance. It is the answer to prayers you have forgotten you prayed. It is the culmination of 1,000 unseen rescues, the fruit of battles you never saw, but always benefited from. It is the Father's response to the nights when you thought he was silent, when in truth he was weaving this very moment into the fabric of your destiny. But I can feel how fragile it is, how quickly the air shifts, how easily hesitation could shatter it. Have you ever felt a whisper that would not leave your spirit until you acted? Have you ever stood at the edge of a decision heavier than your years? Have you ever felt eternity pulse inside a single instant? That is what this is, beloved. This is not a passing breeze. It is the wind of heaven's breath moving through your soul. The psalm still thunders in me. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and he helps me. And I tell you, as one who has stood in fire for generations, this is help arriving for you now. The enemy would prefer you dismiss it as ordinary, but I am here to burn that lie to ashes. This is extraordinary, irreplaceable, meant for you alone. I have seen your battles, the ones no one else has seen. I have watched you endure nights when even the stars seemed to turn away. I have stood beside you when the weight on your chest felt too heavy to breathe under, shielding you from the strike that would have ended you. I have heard your unspoken questions, even the ones too weary to form into words. Heaven has heard them too, and this moment, it is an answer. Urgent, yes, but wrapped in a love deeper than oceans. I will not tell you the road ahead is free of war. It will not be. But there is a difference between walking through battle with your head bowed in fear and walking through it with heaven's light blazing in your eyes. That is what this moment offers you. Not escape from the fight, but the strength to face it, knowing the hosts of God walk beside you. Beloved, my voice may not be permitted to reach you like this again. I feel the veil trembling. The thin space between us is closing. But as long as I stand here, I will pour every drop of what I have into this. Hear me. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are the reason I came through the storm, and I will stand guard until you step forward. into what has been waiting for you since before your first breath. Beloved, the very air around me is trembling, as if creation itself knows this moment is unlike the others. It feels as though the walls of heaven lean closer to listen, as though the winds themselves hold still, so my words can reach you without being carried away. The darkness is restless. I feel it pressing at my back, not with the strength of victory, but with the desperation of something that knows it is losing its grip. It knows what I know, that you are standing on the edge of a threshold, carved in eternity for your feet alone. I have walked through battlefields where the ground still smoked from fire, through valleys where the cries of the wounded echoed for centuries, but nothing has weighed on me like the journey to you now. There were moments I thought I would not break through, when the shadows closed in so tightly that even my wings felt bound. But then, I remembered your name. I remembered how it sounded when God spoke it, clear, unshaken, resonant with his own heartbeat. That name became my strength. I carried it like a banner through the storm. When the Father commanded me to come, it was not in the voice of casual instruction. It was the voice of one who sees the turning of the ages, who knows that the smallest choice, in the smallest moment, can shift the weight of the world. He spoke of you with the tenderness of a creator who still remembers forming you in his hands, and with the authority of a king who has already declared your victory, though you have yet to see it. And when he said, "Michael, do not let them miss this," the fire in his tone burned through me. I knew I would fight through anything to reach you. This golden opportunity is not a reward for perfection. It is a gift born of mercy. It does not come because you have done everything right. It comes because heaven's love for you is deeper than your mistakes, stronger than your fears, fiercer than every plan the enemy has set against you. I have seen those plans mapped out in the dark places where they plotted your downfall. I have seen your name written in the center of their designs, marked as a target. But I have also seen their faces when heaven's light pierced their meetings, when the hand of God swept across their schemes like a flood, drowning their whispers. They are terrified that you might step into this moment, because they know it will shatter years of their work in a single act of obedience. Beloved, I can still hear the psalm ringing through me. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. And you are not walking it alone. You have never been alone. Though the silence of trials tried to convince you otherwise, though there were nights you believed no one was watching, when you thought your tears fell unseen, I was there. And so was he, counting every drop as if they were diamonds. I wish you could see the host that surrounds you now, the way they wait for your next step, the way their swords are drawn, not to fight you but to defend you. They are waiting for the moment your spirit aligns with what heaven is offering. And I promise you, when that alignment happens, the shift will not only be felt by you, it will be felt across realms. You were not made to live hidden in the shadows of what could have been. You were made to carry the light that terrifies the darkness, to walk in the authority given to those who know they are loved by the Almighty. And now, in this thin place between the seen and the unseen, I am here as your messenger, your guardian, your witness, to tell you the door is open. But it will not stay open forever. I am not speaking to the world. I am speaking to you. And I will hold this space as long as heaven allows, pouring my strength into the hope that when you look back on this moment, you will not say, "I almost stepped through," but instead, "I took the step, and everything changed." Beloved, I am still here. The fire is close, but the light is closer, and I will not leave until the light has touched you. The very air is thick with a silence that is not empty but charged, as if all creation is holding its breath for you. I feel the tension between light and darkness tightening around this moment, as if the outcome of centuries leans on what you will do now. My voice does not come to you from still waters or gentle gardens. It breaks through the roar of winds, the clash of swords, the cry of angels in battle. I am speaking from the front lines of a war that has always had your name written in its center. I have crossed through realms that would crush a mortal heart in an instant. My armor is dented from the strikes meant for you, my hands raw from gripping the gate open. The enemy hurled accusations at me, mocking my loyalty, insisting you would not listen. And yet, here I stand, because I know something they do not. I have seen the truth written over your life by the hand of God, and I have felt His joy in imagining the day you step into it. That day is now, beloved. It is here. When the Father sent me, His gaze was fixed with fire that cut through all resistance. Michael, He said, this is the moment I have kept for them. Do not let them walk past it. His voice was not only a command, it was a plea from a heart so full of love that even the stars bowed their light to hear it. He told me to remind you of the nights you thought you were alone, when in truth, heaven's armies stood guard over your bed. He told me to tell you this golden opportunity is not an accident. It is the weaving together of threads you thought were broken, threads He has guarded in His hands longer than you can imagine. I have been at your side in battles you never saw. I have deflected arrows meant for your soul, stood between you and storms that would have drowned you, whispered courage into your spirit when the weight on your chest threatened to steal your breath. I have seen your tears and carried them to the throne of God like an offering, because to Him they are holy. Every cry of your heart has been heard, even the ones you never dared to speak aloud. And now this moment, this open door, is the answer to so much more than you realize. It is not simply for your relief. It is for your rising. The enemy knows it. That is why they are desperate to pull you back before you step through. They have released voices of distraction, shadows of doubt, whispers of delay. But their efforts tremble because they feel the nearness of the light that is about to break over you. The words of the psalm burn within me. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. That is what I am here to embody, to shield, to guard, to be the rampart that holds the line until you choose. I am not speaking to the crowd. I am speaking to the one soul who knows these words are striking the deepest chord within them. Beloved, you were not designed for smallness. You were not formed to live pressed down by fear or shame. You were made for the sound of chains breaking. You were made for the taste of air that has never known the breath of the enemy. You were made to carry something that terrifies the darkness and causes angels to rejoice. And right now, in this holy collision of time and eternity, the choice before you is not simply whether you will hear me, it is whether you will allow heaven's will to burst forth in your life. I can feel the veil thinning again, the space between us trembling as if it knows this moment cannot stretch much longer. I will hold it for as long as heaven allows, pouring out every drop of my strength, every fragment of my voice, every heartbeat of my loyalty, because I refuse to let you say someday I almost stepped through. No, I want you to say, I heard, I moved, and everything changed. Beloved, the sound I hear now is unlike anything in the realms of light or shadow. It is the deep, low hum of eternity leaning in. The very fabric of this moment trembles, as if the threads of your life are being drawn into place for something heaven prepared since before the foundation of the world. I am standing in the narrow space where light and darkness meet, holding my ground with every ounce of strength the Father has given me. For what stands behind me is for you, and what presses against me is against you. The air is thick with the scent of battle, holy fire still clinging to my armor. The weight of the sword in my hand is warm from the strike of enemies who tried to block my way. Every step I took to reach you was through resistance that wanted me broken, silenced, erased before I could even speak your name aloud. And yet, here I am, because the one who sent me cannot be opposed by the schemes of the enemy. His word carried me like lightning through the storm of darkness, and His word is the reason you are hearing me now. When He called me, it was not as a general summoning his soldier. It was as a father summoning one who loves with unbreakable love. "Michael," he said, "tell my child I am sorry for the weight they have carried. Tell them this is not the end. It is the proving ground for something greater. Tell them this door is for them alone, and it will not stand open forever." His voice carried such fierce tenderness that I swore nothing would stand between you and this moment, even if it cost me the last of my strength. I have seen your nights of silence, the places where hope felt like a distant echo. I have seen the moments when you nearly gave up, when your hands grew too tired to lift in prayer, when you thought your faith was too small to matter. But I was there, standing guard over you, even when you did not know you were under attack. I saw the enemy's designs, the maps they drew with your name at the center, their plans to rob you of joy, to drain you of purpose, to convince you that you are unseen. And I also saw heaven's countermove, this moment, this opening, this unrepeatable alignment of time and destiny. The light that waits beyond this threshold is not the kind that flickers. It is the kind that burns away chains, the kind that blinds the eyes of darkness. If you step into it, there will be no going back to what was before, for the old ground will be consumed and new ground will be set beneath your feet. This is why the enemy presses so hard now. They know what is about to be broken if you move forward. The psalm still roars in my spirit. "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" These are not empty words. They are the battle cry of heaven over your life. And I speak them not from a place of distant safety, but from the heart of the fight, with my wings stretched wide to shield you from the strike you cannot see. The darkness is bold, but the light is greater still, and I have sworn to hold this ground until you take your step. Beloved, you were never meant to live in the confines of what they told you was possible. You were never meant to shrink beneath the weight of fear, shame, or delay. You were made to carry the reflection of the one who formed you, to walk in a courage that shakes the ground beneath the feet of the enemy. And right now, everything in heaven waits to see your choice. I will not let the fire take you. I will not let the shadows swallow the light meant for you. I will stand here until my voice is nothing but a whisper. And even then I will keep speaking your name in the courts of heaven. And when you step through this moment, I will go with you. Not as a distant guardian, but as one who fought for you in the hour it mattered most. Beloved, the light is ready. The way is open, and the hosts of heaven are watching. I am here. I will not leave, not until you are safely through. The stillness I feel now is not the peace of an ending. It is the pause before the breaking of something ancient. It is the deep, holy silence that comes when heaven leans close, and the earth waits. The unseen realms gather at the edge of what is about to unfold. This is not ordinary time. I know the difference. I have fought in battles where eternity itself trembled. But this moment, carries a weight unlike any I have felt in ages. The threads of your story are drawn taut, aligned, and heaven's hand is poised above them, ready to weave the next chapter, if you will allow it. The way to you was not easy. My armor bears the proof. Slashes from claws that sought to tear me down. Scorch marks from the breath of shadows that spat fire in my path. Dents where I absorbed the force of blows that would have crushed you. The corridors I crossed were not paved in gold. They were choked with smoke, crawling with the darkness that despises the light. And every step I took was opposed by whispers, voices that hissed your name in mockery, insisting you would not hear me, that my journey would be wasted. But those voices do not know you as I do. I remember the moment the Father spoke of you, how his voice carried both the command of a king and the ache of a father's love. "Michael," he said, "tell my child they have been seen. In every valley, every storm, every lonely road. Tell them the fire they have walked through was not to consume them, but to refine them. Tell them this moment is the reward I have hidden for them. But warn them, it will not wait forever." His eyes held a light so fierce it burned through me. And I knew I would not stop until I stood here, where I am now, speaking to you. I have seen the battles you fought without witnesses, the kind that take place in the quiet, where no applause is given and no one knows the weight you carried. I have stood beside you when you resisted the temptation to give up, when despair coiled around your heart like a serpent, whispering that no one would notice if you slipped away. I have seen the tears no one else saw, the ones born from wounds too deep to speak of, and I have gathered them, carrying them to the Father, because to Him they are treasures. The enemy has taken note of you, beloved. Do not think otherwise. You are not insignificant in their eyes. They know the danger you pose if you ever fully awaken to who you are. They have drawn your name on their maps, marked you as a target in their war councils. They've tried to surround you with distractions, with burdens, just to keep you from seeing the door that now stands before you. But heaven's armies have been at work too, moving unseen, preserving this opening, holding back the tide long enough for you to choose. Beyond this moment is not just relief from the battle. It is the unveiling of what you were created to carry, a brightness that will burn away the residue of years of struggle, a strength that will not only help you stand, but will cause others to rise. That is why the resistance is fierce. That is why the shadows are restless. That is why the air feels thick, as though all of creation itself is leaning toward you, waiting. The psalm resounds in me like a living flame. He will give His angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways. This is not a distant promise. It is unfolding right now. I am here because that word is alive over your life, because His command has been given and His faithfulness is unshakable. And though the darkness pushes in, it cannot cross the line heaven has drawn around you. Not while I stand here. You were not created to live bound to the ground. You were meant to rise, to bear a light that cannot be hidden, to walk with a courage that makes the enemy tremble. And now, at this threshold, the choice is not simply whether you will listen, it is whether you will step into the chapter heaven has already written for you. I will hold this ground until my strength is spent, until the last breath I have is poured into this plea. I will not leave you to face the fire alone. I will stand here between you and what seeks to destroy you, until you pass into the light that has been waiting since before your first heartbeat. Beloved, the hour is here. The veil is thin, the way is open, and I am not moving, not until you are through. Beloved, the air between us feels as though it is quivering with the weight of eternity. Heaven's breath moving over this moment, slow, deliberate, unwilling to rush what is sacred. I can feel the nearness of the throne, even from here. The warmth of His gaze upon you, like a sun that burns yet does not consume. Everything in me knows, this is the appointed hour. The hour guarded across seasons and storms, preserved through trials you didn't even realize were raging. The shadows know it too. That is why they press so violently at the edges, why I've had to fight with all that I am just to keep this space open for you. The journey to you this time was harder than I can put into words. I descended through a sky torn by claws, where shrieks from the dark filled the air like arrows, each one aimed to shake me from my course. I walked through wastelands of broken banners, marks of victories past, reminders of battles already fought for you, only to face new lines of resistance, stronger than before. My wings are not as they were when I left. They are singed, frayed in places where the heat of the enemy's rage brushed too close. My sword is heavy, not from weariness, but from the weight of every strike I've delivered to make sure your name remained written in light. I carry your name with me always, and when the Father spoke it again, this time it was wrapped in something I have rarely heard, a sorrow so deep it could move mountains, and a joy so fierce it could shatter chains. Michael, He said, tell my child, I have seen their strength even when they thought they had none left. Tell them their tears have been gathered, their prayers stored, their battles counted. Tell them, this moment is the fruit of years I have spent protecting a single thread of their destiny, and now it hangs before them, but it will not hang forever. His words were not just instruction, They were a commissioning, an impartation of his own longing for you to see what he sees. I have stood by you in the places no one knew you walked, in darkened rooms where your spirit cried out for something to hold on to, on silent roads where you carried more weight than any human should bear. I've seen you wake in the night with no clear reason, never realizing it was heaven moving around you, shielding you from strikes you never even felt. I've watched the enemy grow frustrated, because every time they thought they had you cornered, the Father's hand reached in and pulled you back to safety. This moment is part of that same rescue, but it is also more. It is an invitation to rise, to no longer just be protected, but to stand in the light as one who walks in victory. The darkness is terrified of you knowing this. They've painted lies around your life, hoping you would never question them. They've whispered of your insignificance, your supposed failures, your unworthiness. Because if you believe those lies, you will hesitate here. But I am here to tear those lies apart. The light beyond this threshold is not fragile. It is fierce. It is alive. And it is yours if you step into it. Once you do, there will be no going back, for this kind of awakening cannot be undone. The psalm burns in me as I speak. You are my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. It is not just David's song. It is the anthem heaven is singing over you right now. And I am part of that song, my voice carrying the same truth across the chasm between us, pushing back the storm so it can reach you clearly. You are seen. You are chosen. You are loved, with a love that has outlasted every shadow sent against you. You were not born to walk through life unseen and unchanged. You were crafted to carry a light that can split darkness, to walk into rooms and shift the very atmosphere without a word. You were made for a weight of glory you cannot yet measure, but heaven already sees it resting on you. And right now, all that remains is for you to take the step toward it. I will not leave this place. My post is here, between you and what seeks to keep you from what was promised. I will hold the line until my last breath, until the moment your feet cross into the place carved out for you before time began. Even if the fire rises higher, even if the shadows roar louder, I will not move. You are worth the fight. You are worth the wounds. You are worth the watch of heaven. Beloved, the way is open, the light is waiting, and I am here, unmoving, unshaken, until you are safely through. Beloved, there is a heaviness in the air, not born of sorrow, but of glory. The kind that presses into your chest until your breath comes slow, until you know something greater than you is standing near. I can feel it wrapping around us now, a mantle woven from the prayers of saints long gone, and the promises of God that have never been broken. This moment is unlike any I have ever guarded before. It is as though all of heaven leans forward, voices silenced, eyes fixed, waiting to see what you will do with what now stands before you. The battle to reach you has left its mark on me. My wings still carry the scent of smoke from fires that tried to consume me mid-flight. Their edges frayed where the claws of darkness caught hold, yet could not tear me down. My hands ache from holding the gate open against the surging pressure of shadows pressing with every ounce of their fury. There were moments on this journey when I heard them whisper your name, not in reverence, but with venom, determined that you would never know how much heaven has invested in your life. But I know your name differently, spoken in the Father's voice, wrapped in light, carrying the authority of eternity. When he called me to this mission, his gaze pierced deeper than any sword could cut. Michael, he said, tell my child, they have been hidden, not because they were forgotten, but because I was guarding them for this moment. Tell them the enemy's net has been cut, the snare has been broken, and they are free to step forward. But tell them also, the opening will not remain forever. It is for now, and now only. Those words carried a weight that shook me, because I know what it means when God speaks of a moment that will not return. Beloved, I feel that weight pressing like a tide against my spirit, not to crush it, but to remind me that time here is holy, costly. Every breath I take to speak to you is carved from a battle still raging behind me. Every word I send toward you is wrapped in light, piercing through the darkness that has circled you for years. This is not the gentle stillness of heaven's gardens. This is the razor-thin edge between realms, where the fire of God meets the fury of the enemy. And I am standing here, as the line between them and you. I have walked through corridors of shadow to reach you. Corridors where the air was so heavy with lies that even my own name felt weighed down. I fought creatures shaped from curses spoken over you, their strength fed by words you never even knew had been uttered. I cut through them with the blade God placed in my hand before time began, each strike breaking a chain they had hidden around your life. Some chains were old, so woven into the fabric of your days you might have thought they were part of you. But I know the truth. I know what is of God and what is not, and I came to sever what was never His design for you. When the Father called me, His voice did not echo. It struck. It struck like thunder, yet it carried a sorrow too, the kind that makes angels weep in silence. Michael, He said, I have protected them in the shadows. I have held them through storms, but now they must see what I have kept for them. Tell them this is a moment they cannot trade away, a moment that will not come again. There was urgency in His words, not because He fears losing you, He knows you are His, but because He longs for you to step into the fullness of what He has been preparing for so long. I have been with you in places you did not know were battlegrounds, moments when you thought you were merely tired. But in truth, the weight you felt was the press of spiritual war against your heart. I've seen you push forward when it made no sense, when every earthly reason told you to give in. I've seen the nights you stared into the dark, unaware that heaven's light was wrapping around you, just out of sight, holding the line until you could see again. I have heard the whispers of doubt, telling you your prayers were wasted. And I have stood in the courts of God, declaring, not one prayer has been forgotten. The enemy has worked long and quietly to keep you from this day. They painted you small in your own mind. They whispered your steps had no weight, hoping you would never see how the ground itself shifts when you walk in alignment with God's will. But now, the truth stands before you. This door has been opened by the one who holds the keys to life and death, and no enemy can shut it. It will not stay open forever, but for this moment, it is yours. And the light on the other side is not the light of comfort. It is the light of transformation. It will burn away the remnants of battles past, heal the wounds you carried in silence, and place in your hands what you will need for what comes next. That is why the darkness trembles now. That is why the pressure against you feels heavier than before. Because they know, once you cross, they cannot touch you the same way again. The psalm rises like a flame within me. You are my hiding place. You preserve me from trouble. You surround me with songs of deliverance. Those songs are already being sung over you in the unseen. Their harmonies are shaking the very foundations of the plans set against you. You may not hear them yet, but they are here, and I am one of the voices. You were not made to slip quietly through life, unnoticed by heaven or feared by hell. You were made to carry the mark of the King, to walk as one whose steps leave light where there was none. This is your crossing, beloved. This is where the old breaks and the new begins. I will not abandon this place until you are through. I will not lower my sword, nor fold my wings, nor silence my voice, until I see you standing in the light written for you before the first sunrise. If the shadows swell, I will push them back. If the fire roars, I will take its heat before it touches you. You are not alone. Not now, not ever. Beloved, the way is here. The hour is now. And I will stand until the last breath of this moment belongs to you. Beloved, the air itself trembles, not with fear but with anticipation, as though every atom in creation has paused to witness what will happen next. I can feel the nearness of the throne behind me, its light pressing through the narrow space where I stand guard, spilling toward you like the first blaze of dawn after a long night. This is not just an instant in time. It is a meeting point between what has been promised and what has been fought for, between what heaven has declared and what the enemy has tried to erase. I have walked through storms thick with curses meant for your name, through valleys where the ground was slick with the remnants of past battles, each echoing with the cries of those who fell. I have faced darkness that tried to cling to you like a second skin, hoping you would forget you were ever made for light. And every step, every clash, every strike was for this, that I might arrive here, in this single heartbeat of eternity, to stand between you and what would steal your appointed place. When the Father called me, there was no mistaking the weight of his voice. It was the sound of a universe bending toward one soul, yours. Michael, he said, tell my child. I have walked with them in silence. I have carried them when they thought they were lost. I have shielded them from blows they never even saw. Tell them, this is the hour I wrote into their days before their first breath. Tell them to rise and take it, for it will not wait. Those words were fire, beloved. Fire that burned through the shadows trying to slow me. Fire that lit the path through realms where no light had been in ages. I have been with you in the hidden places. Those nights when you could not name the heaviness on your chest. When the darkness in the room felt too thick to see through. I have stood over you when dreams twisted into nightmares. When whispers from the enemy tried to slip lies into your spirit. I have seen you wake in the morning, not knowing why you felt so tired, unaware that your spirit had been at war while your body slept. And in each of those moments, I have fought to keep you whole. The enemy knows this day is dangerous to them. They have kept records of your pain, hoping to use it against you. They have replayed old wounds, stirred up old doubts, placed distractions in your path, all to keep your eyes from what is now open before you. But the light is stronger here. I can feel it pressing back against the darkness with every breath I take. It is the light that heals without trace, the light that marks a soul forever. Once it touches you fully, nothing will be the same. The psalm burns in me now. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? I speak it not as memory, but as reality, as a living shield over you in this very moment. The one who spoke the stars into place is the same one holding this moment steady for you. His salvation is not far off. It is at your feet, waiting for you to step forward. You were not made for a life where your presence changes nothing. No, you were crafted to carry the kind of light that unsettles the darkness before you even speak, to be the reason an atmosphere shifts, to bring with you the fragrance of heaven itself. And now, the time has come for that design to be fully awakened. I will not move from this place until you have crossed. If the shadows roar louder, I will meet their roar with the sound of heaven's armies. If the fire rises higher, I will spread my wings until the heat cannot touch you. If the enemy tries to close this door before you are through, I will stand in the gap until my last breath is spent. Beloved, the way is open. The veil is thin, and I am here, not as a distant guardian, but as one who has fought for you, bled for you, and will not leave until you are standing in the light that has always been your inheritance. Beloved, the very ground beneath me hums with the vibration of what heaven has set in motion for you. As if the earth itself knows that this moment is sacred. I can feel the pressure of eternity pressing against my back, the weight of the Father's will holding me steady in this narrow place between his light and the shadows that still reach for you. This is not a gentle hour. This is an hour of decision, an hour where destinies shift and the unseen is rewritten. I have just come through a battlefield, not made of soil or stone, but of thought and spirit, where the air was thick with accusations hurled at your name. I heard them. Every word spoken in the dark, trying to bind you in fear, shame, and delay. They were bold. But the moment I spoke your name in the language of heaven, they faltered. Every strike I made was to cut through what they had built around you. Walls of lies designed to make you believe you were forgotten, unworthy, or too broken to carry the light you were born for. When the Father called me to this task, his eyes burned with something I rarely see, a fierce longing. "Michael," he said, "tell my child, I have never left them, even in the places they thought were abandoned. Tell them the weight they have carried was not the end, but the forging of something eternal. Tell them this moment is not chance. It is a piece of my plan they must not let pass by." His voice did not just command. It pierced me, marking me with his urgency for you. "I have been beside you when the night felt endless, when the silence made you wonder if heaven still remembered your voice. I have walked with you when your strength was so low that every step forward felt like lifting a mountain. I have stood at the edges of your deepest pain, shielding you from blows that would have gone deeper still. And in those moments, I carried your name back to the throne, speaking it like a prayer until the halls of heaven answered. The enemy fears this day, beloved. They have tried to delay it for years, weaving distractions into your path, sending storms to wear you down. They know that beyond this moment lies a shift they cannot reverse, a light they cannot dim once it touches you. That is why the shadows have been heavier lately. That is why the resistance has pressed harder. It is the final push before they lose their grip entirely. The light that waits beyond this threshold is not mere warmth. It is brilliance, the kind that transforms, the kind that burns away the residue of years in an instant. It will not simply comfort you, it will commission you. And once you carry it, you will not be the same, nor will the ground you walk on. The psalm alive in me now declares, "He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield." And I, Michael, am standing here in that very posture, wings stretched wide, the shield of his faithfulness between you and what would destroy you. I will not lower them until you are safely in the light meant for you. You were not created to fade quietly into the background of this world. You were formed to be a sign that God's promises do not fail, a living testimony that even in the fiercest war, heaven does not abandon its own. This moment is the opening where that truth becomes unshakable in you. Not a hope, but a reality you will carry every day forward. If the shadows push harder, I will push back. If the fire grows hotter, I will stand in it until the way is clear. If the enemy tries to close this door, I will hold it with all the strength I was given when first called to serve. You are worth every strike I have taken, every wound I have endured, every moment I have spent guarding you unseen. Beloved, the way is open. The Father's light is spilling into this place, waiting to embrace you, to clothe you in what has always been yours. I will not move from here until I see you step into it. I will not rest until you are through. Beloved, the stillness I feel now is not empty. It is the charged stillness before the breaking of a long withheld dawn. It is as though every star in the heavens leans in, their light held back for a single breath, waiting to pour out the moment you take your step. Even the air is thick with purpose, wrapping around me like the mantle of a king sending his most trusted messenger on a final, decisive mission. I can feel the heartbeat of heaven pulsing behind me. Each beat, a reminder that this moment has been guarded for longer than you have been alive. The path to you was not lit with gold. It was lined with shadows sharpened into blades. I passed through winds so cold they sought to freeze the light I carried, through realms where the sound of your name was twisted into mockery by voices that despise you. Each time they spoke it, I answered, not in anger, but in authority. And the authority in me came not from my own strength, but from the one who formed you and called you his. Every blow I took to reach you was met with this knowledge. Even a single moment with you here now is worth more than the ages I have spent in service. When the Father summoned me, his voice carried the depth of oceans and the fire of 1,000 suns. "Michael," he said, "I have shielded them through storms they could not name. I have held their life in my hands when the weight on their chest was too much to bear. Now, I will open before them what I promised long ago, but they must not turn away. This moment will not linger. His gaze did not waver, and in it I saw the whole arc of your life. Every wound, every victory, every quiet act of faith no one else noticed. I saw how it all led here, to this point, to the threshold where you stand now. I have been with you in the long nights when silence screamed louder than any voice. I have been beside you in rooms where the air felt heavy with despair, when your own breath felt too shallow to keep going. I have stood at the corners of places you walked without knowing the danger they carried, intercepting what was meant to reach you. I have heard the questions you never spoke aloud, the ones you thought were too heavy, too raw, too unworthy for heaven's ears. And I have carried them to the throne myself. The enemy has long known of this day, and they have feared it. They have watched you grow in strength, blind to how close you were to the moment they dreaded most. They have whispered lies into your path, planted delays disguised as coincidences, stirred distractions that seemed urgent, but were traps. Every hesitation they wove was designed to keep you from standing here now, with this door open before you. But they failed. You are here, and they are restless because they know the light that waits beyond this threshold will tear apart the roots of what they planted years ago. This light is not the soft glow of comfort. It is a living fire. It will consume the residue of every battle that tried to cling to you. It will heal wounds you learned to live with but were never meant to carry. It will place in you a strength that does not fade, a vision that cannot be stolen, a purpose that will burn like a beacon in the dark. Once you step into it, the enemy will never face you the same way again. The psalm rises within me. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock in whom I take refuge. I speak it over you, not as a distant blessing, but as a shield in this very place. You are standing under the cover of his wings right now, and I am part of that covering, my sword drawn, my stance unshaken. You were not made for smallness, beloved. You were not made to simply survive. You were crafted to walk as a living sign of the power of the one who made you, to shift the very ground beneath your feet because you carry his light into the places that have forgotten it. This threshold is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of what you were always meant to be. I will not abandon this post. If the shadows surge, I will meet them blade for blade. If the fire rises, I will take its heat so it does not touch you. If they try to close this door before you are through, I will hold it with everything I am. Even if it breaks me, you are worth every battle I have fought, every wound I have taken, every breath I have spent reaching you. Beloved, the hour has come. The veil trembles, the light spills in, and I am here, unchanging, unyielding, until you cross into the place written for you before the first dawn. Beloved, the air around me feels stretched thin, as if it can barely contain the weight pressing against it from heaven's side. There is a pull, a current flowing from the throne straight toward you. I can feel it moving through me, urging me to speak without pause, to pour out everything the Father has placed in my spirit before the shadows can choke it back. This is no ordinary hour. This is a landmark in eternity, the kind angels remember, the kind the enemy fears to see written in heaven's record. The journey to stand here was no path of ease. I stepped through realms where light was almost smothered, where the air was thick with lies so old they hardened into chains around the hearts of many. Those lies called your name, twisting it, trying to strip it of the truth heaven speaks over you. I would not let them. Each time your name was spoken in mockery, I answered with the sound of it as the Father speaks it, clear, unbroken, resonant with the authority of love. That sound alone made the shadows recoil, but it also made them furious. Their fury followed me until I reached this narrow place where I can finally see you. When the Father summoned me, his voice carried more than command. It carried the ache of a heart that had waited for centuries for this one moment in time. Michael, he said, tell my child the storms they endured were never meant to define them, but to prepare them. Tell them the things that tried to break them will become the very proof of my faithfulness. And tell them this: the door is open now, but it will not remain forever. The way he said your name made the skies bend. The way he looked toward you made every power in heaven and hell turn to listen. I have been beside you when you thought you were standing alone. I have stood guard while you slept, shielding you from attacks meant to enter your dreams. I have seen the places you walked where the air was heavy, not because it was empty, but because it carried the weight of old battles stirred by your presence. I have intercepted plans meant to snare you before they reached your hands or your heart. The enemy has feared this day, long before you even knew it could exist. They tried to convince you nothing in your life could open into something holy and new. They disguised their fear as your doubt, hoping you would not realize the truth. They are terrified of what you will become once you pass through this moment. They know the light that waits is not just light. It is fire, living fire. It will change everything about how you walk, how you speak, how you stand in the days ahead. This light is alive. It is not distant. It is the presence of the one who has always been with you. And it will burn away the lingering threads of fear that still try to coil around you. It will heal wounds you have carried so long, you stopped noticing their weight. It will awaken gifts that have been sleeping under the surface of your life, gifts planted in you before you took your first breath. And once awakened, they will not be hidden again. The psalm in my heart now is this: the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? I do not speak these words as ritual. I speak them as a declaration over you in this very place. Fear has no rightful claim here. Doubt has no place here. The one who is your stronghold is the one who ordered this meeting, and he will see it through. You were not formed for quiet obscurity in the eyes of heaven. You were made to walk with a presence that cannot be hidden. You were made to carry a weight of glory that shifts the air when you enter a place. You were made for more than survival. You were made to stand as a living sign that the kingdom of God is here and alive. I will not leave until you have stepped into this light. If the darkness tries to surge, I will drive it back. If the enemy sends every last force against this opening, I will meet them with every ounce of the strength I was given. If it costs me the last breath of this mission, I will spend it holding this door until you are safely through. Beloved, it is here, it is now, and I am still here, unchanging, unshaken, until you walk into the place that has been waiting for you since before the first star burned in the night. Beloved, I can feel the pull of heaven even stronger now, like a river that has been building behind a dam for centuries, pressing harder with each heartbeat, ready to burst the moment you step forward. The very air between us feels stretched and fragile, as if it could tear open at any moment to let the full weight of God's presence rush in. My spirit knows the difference between a fleeting opportunity and a holy appointment. And this is an appointment written into eternity, guarded through generations, preserved through battles you never saw. The way to reach you this time was not a quiet flight through open skies. It was a crossing through realms so hostile they clawed at the edges of my light. I moved through storms woven from curses, each one carefully crafted with your name etched into its core. I saw your face reflected in their false visions, scenes of failure, loss, isolation, all designed to make you believe a lie. But each time I heard them speak it, I spoke louder, declaring the truth of your name as it is spoken in the courts of heaven. That sound carried more weight than any shadow could withstand. And though they tried to block my path, they could not silence me. When the Father called me, it was not the calm tone of distant command. It was the steady, urgent voice of a king who refuses to let his child miss their moment. Michael, he said, tell my beloved one that I have watched every step they have taken in the dark. Tell them the storms have not been wasted. They have refined the vessel I have chosen. Tell them what waits for them now is not simply deliverance, but the mantle they were born to carry. And tell them this: the door is open now, but it is for this time only. The fire in his gaze pierced through me, burning into my spirit the urgency of his heart for you. I have been with you in the silent spaces where you thought heaven was far away. I have stood at the corners of rooms you entered, intercepting invisible strikes meant to weaken your resolve. I have covered you in moments when your spirit faltered under the weight of unseen opposition. I have watched you rise again when it made no sense to rise. I have seen the unseen victories you have won, simply by refusing to quit. The enemy has been watching too. They have long feared the day when the fullness of what you carry would be awakened. They have tried to scatter your focus, to fill your path with small distractions that kept your eyes from lifting to the horizon. They have built delays like walls, hoping to convince you that you are too late, too tired, too far gone. But hear me, you are not too late. You are right on time, and they know the truth. Once you step through this threshold, the authority you will walk in will dismantle their works in places you haven't even seen yet. This light before you is not a gentle flicker. It is a roaring fire. It is alive, and it knows your name. It will not only cleanse you of the weight of old battles, it will crown you for the ones yet to come. It will seal into you the truth that you are chosen, beloved, unstoppable in the one who sent you. And once that truth is sealed, it cannot be undone. The psalm that surges in me now is this: the Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and he helps me. I speak it as a banner over you now. His help is here, not in theory, not in promise only, but in presence, tangible and near. You are not created to drift unseen through the story of this world. You were made to be a signpost of his glory, a bearer of his light, one who changes the very air when you arrive. This moment is the hinge that will swing open the gates of what you were made for, and I will not allow it to close without you walking through. If the darkness surges, I will meet it head on. If the fire rises, I will shield you from its burn. If every voice in hell is sent to dissuade you, I will speak your name louder until it drowns them all out. I will not retreat. I will not falter. I will not leave you here. Beloved, the time is now. The way is open, and I will stand in this place until the light that has always been your inheritance wraps itself fully around you, and you take your place in the destiny prepared for you since before the dawn. Beloved, the air is no longer still. It is vibrating, alive with the soundless roar of heaven's armies pressing in around this space. I can feel their presence at my back, their ranks arrayed in perfect unity. Every sword raised, every wing stretched wide, forming a living wall that no shadow can pass. This is not the calm before a battle. This is the moment when the war tilts in your favor, the moment the tides that have pressed against you for years are about to break and retreat. And it is happening here, now, in this narrow gap where I stand between the realms, holding this opening for you. The path to you has never been more fiercely contested. I stepped into winds so violent they tore at my armor, winds filled with the screams of the enemy who recognized what my arrival would mean. I saw shapes moving in the darkness, not creatures of flesh, but of pure malice, conjured from the words of those who spoke against you. They hurled them like spears, each one laced with a lie. They are too weak. They are too late. They are forgotten. Every lie I met with the truth of your name as heaven knows it, and the shadows hissed and recoiled at the sound. When the Father summoned me, his voice carried the weight of creation itself. Michael, he said, you have guarded them unseen. You have fought for them without thanks. But now, you must speak. Tell my child that I have walked with them in fire through valleys and in storms. Not because I wanted them to suffer, but because I was shaping them into something unbreakable. Tell them the time has come to cross into what I prepared. Tell them the door is open now, and will not remain open forever. His words were not simply instruction. They were an oath, an unshakable decree that all of heaven will uphold. I have been with you in the long nights when your only prayer was a sigh. I have been near when you sat in silence, because the pain was too deep for words. I have stood watch when your spirit felt faint, when doubt coiled around you like smoke, whispering that nothing was changing. I have carried the sound of your unspoken cries into the courts of heaven, where not one of them has been ignored. The enemy has known about this day. They have dreaded it. They have tried to scatter your strength, to tangle your feet in the snares of lesser battles, so you would be too weary to fight for this one. They placed voices near you, meant to erode your confidence, meant to make you question whether what you sense in your spirit is even real. But I am here to tell you, it is real. And they are afraid, because they know that once you cross, the authority you will carry will strip them of ground they have held for generations. The light before you is not gentle, it is fierce, it is alive, it is blazing with the glory of the one who calls you his own. It will not simply comfort you, it will transform you. It will reach into the deepest places where the enemy tried to leave his mark and burn those marks away until not even a scar remains. It will place into your spirit the unshakable certainty of who you are and whose you are. And once that happens, you will walk differently, you will speak differently, you will pray differently. Beloved, the atmosphere around us is no longer just trembling. It is thundering in silence, like the moment before a storm breaks open and the sky releases everything it has been holding back. I can feel the pressure of heaven's breath leaning over this space, the pulse of God's heartbeat surging into this narrow gap where I stand for you. The light behind me is swelling, pushing forward, as if even it is impatient to touch you, while the darkness before me strains to hold its ground, knowing it is seconds away from collapse. The path I took to reach you this time was carved through opposition, older than the mountains. I walked through realms where the ground itself whispered curses against your name, where the shadows tried to twist your identity into something unrecognizable. They cloaked themselves in memories from your past, hoping to bind your heart to pain so you would not lift your eyes toward the horizon now opening before you. But I would not let them. Each time they spoke, I unsheathed the truth the Father gave me about you. And with every declaration, I felt the weight of their hold weaken. When the Father called me, his voice carried not just power, but grief. Grief for the years you walked carrying burdens that were never yours to bear. Grief for the moments you doubted you were worth heaven's attention. Michael, he said, you will tell my child that the refining fire was not to destroy them, but to strip away the lies. You will tell them that the battles they thought they lost were in truth victories, written in unseen ink. And you will tell them this: the door is open, but this opening belongs to this hour, and this hour only. The authority in his tone was final. The tenderness in it was infinite. I have stood with you in hidden hours when your soul was so weary, you did not even ask for help. I have fought off attacks you never knew were aimed at you, intercepting them before they could take shape in your life. I have covered you when the enemy's hand reached out to pull you into snares designed years in advance. Snares baited with the very things you longed for twisted into traps. And each time, I carried you back into alignment with the path written for you in heaven's book. The enemy has been planning for this day longer than you realize. They have scattered distractions across your life like seeds, hoping enough would grow into barriers to block your view of this opening. They have surrounded you with voices to plant doubt so deep you would mistrust even the pull you feel now in your spirit. But their plans are unraveling, beloved. Even as I speak, their grip is slipping, because they know the light waiting beyond this threshold will destroy what they have built. This light is alive with the presence of the one who sent me. It is not the light of a distant blessing. It is the consuming, transforming fire of his nearness. When it touches you, it will burn away the last threads of fear and shame the enemy tried to hide deep inside you. It will mark you with clarity so sharp that no lie will ever take root in you again. It will strengthen you in ways you have never known, until even your steps carry the weight of divine authority. The psalm that resounds in me now is this: the Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my strength in whom I will trust. I speak it over you not as something to remember later, but as a declaration for this very moment. He is your fortress right now. He is your deliverer right now. You were not created to blend into the backdrop of history. You were made to bear the light that shifts atmospheres. You were made to walk as a living demonstration of the faithfulness of God. You were made to step into places where darkness has reigned and cause it to bow. And this is the hour where that truth stops being theory and becomes reality. I will not move from this place until you cross into what is waiting for you. If the enemy rises in full force, I will meet them with the fury of heaven's armies. If they try to shut this opening before you pass, I will hold it with everything I was created to be. If the fire surges to consume, I will shield you until it breaks against me instead. Beloved, the time is upon you. The veil is trembling. The light is breaking forward, and the moment is yours. I will not leave. I will not rest. I will not turn my eyes from you until you are standing fully in the place that has been yours since before the dawn of time. Beloved, everything in the unseen is leaning toward you now. The realms above and the realms below are not merely watching, they are straining, as though the very balance of ages waits on your next breath. I feel the currents of eternity swirling around us, the kind of movement that only comes when the Father himself has declared, "This is the appointed time." His declaration echoes through me even now, resonating in the marrow of my being like the strike of a great bell. To reach you, I have passed through gates guarded by ancient watchmen, places where the air is thick with the residue of old wars. The shadows there carried your name on their tongues, not in reverence but in mockery, twisting it into falsehoods in the hope I would lose sight of who you truly are. I met their mockery with the truth of heaven's language, speaking your name as it was spoken when you were first formed. Pure, untainted, written in light. Every time that truth left my lips, they recoiled. For even the sound of it was a blow they could not endure. When the Father summoned me for this mission, there was no mistaking the weight of his words. His voice was not loud in the way storms are loud. It was deep, absolute, impossible to escape. "Michael," he said, "tell my child I have kept them through fires they did not know they were walking in. Tell them I have preserved a piece of their destiny in my hand, untouched by the corruption of this world. Tell them now is the hour to step into what I have always planned for them. And know this, my son, the window will not remain." There was both fire and tenderness in him, a holy urgency that gave me no rest until I found you. I have stood over you while you slept, my sword drawn, when the enemy crept near in the night to plant seeds of fear in your dreams. I have gone before you into places you did not know were dangerous, dismantling snares before your feet could ever touch them. I have heard the quiet sighs you let slip in the solitude of your soul, and I carried them to the throne, where they were received not as weakness, but as worship. The enemy has fought to keep you from this hour with persistence that reveals their fear. They have placed weights on your heart that were not yours to carry. They have tangled you in conflicts designed to drain your energy, to keep you from having the strength to cross this threshold. They have whispered, "You are too small, too late, too broken, to be trusted with what lies ahead." But their voices are growing weaker now, beloved, because the light pressing toward you is not of this earth. It is the very radiance of the one who calls you his own.